Hello everybody. We've just had our coloured belt grading at Chelmsford Taekwondo. A few of the higher grades got asked questions about our Taekwondo history and they were struggling for answers. So I thought I'd just recap that for everybody with a short history from the training manual that we use. Some people find it easier to watch a video or hear a voice than they do to read the book. So I'm just going to recap that for you in video form. Okay, so a short history of Taekwondo. Contrary to popular belief, Taekwondo isn't actually an ancient Korean martial art. It's a relatively modern synthesis of Shotokan karate and Taekyon. Taekyon is a traditional Korean martial game that focuses on kicking and sweeping techniques. General Choi, the founder of Taekwondo, learnt Taekyon in his youth, and later when he travelled to Japan, he did learn Shotokan karate, and hence he synthesised the two together. General Choi decided on the name Taekwondo for his new martial art, partly because of the similarity to the name of Taekyon, and also to differentiate it from Tang-Soo-Do and Kong-Soo-Do, which are different names for karate that were floating around in Korea at the time. Tai means to jump, kick or smash with the foot. Kwon means a fist, specifically to strike or attack with the hand or fist. And Do means art, method or way. General Choi's Taekwondo system is known as Changhon style Taekwondo or ITF style Taekwondo. Changhon is General Choi's pen name. It differentiates it from the Taekwondo practiced by the Kukiwon and the World Taekwondo Federation, and it translates as Blue Cottage. The Changhon Taekwondo patterns were the first totally original Taekwondo patterns to be developed. In around 1954, I believe it was, the President of South Korea, Syngman Rhee, witnessed a martial arts demonstration by members of the Korean Armed Forces who had been training in the precursor of Taekwondo. The president was so impressed that he ordered the martial arts to be taught to all members of the Korean Armed Forces. In 1955, General Choi organised a meeting to attempt to unify the various different martial arts schools throughout Korea. Those in attendance were asked to vote on a single name for the martial art, and in the end, the name Taekwondo was chosen. It's often believed that the naming committee agreed the name of Taekwondo on the 11th of April 1955, but that date is actually just the date when General Choi and his instructors under him began using the name, before it was actually approved by the President of South Korea. Throughout the 1950s and 60s, General Choi and his instructors formulated 20 patterns. The first few were Hwarang, Chungmu, Ulji, Samil and Wunam. And these went into his first book in 1959, along with a load of the karate patterns that were still in use at the time. And then on into the 60s, another 15 or so were developed, including Chonji Dangun, or the colour belt patterns, and many of the black belt patterns. In March 22nd of March 1966, the ITF, the original International Taekwondo Federation, was formed, originally with its headquarters in South Korea. And in 1967, now Grandmaster Riki Ha actually travelled to the United Kingdom and formed a Taekwondo association here. And that was the United Kingdom Taekwondo Association, or the UKTA. In 1972, General Choi moved to Canada and he relocated the ITF there as well. As well as publishing his second English language book, which contained 24 Taekwondo patterns and a lot of revised theory and terminology. This book included the 24 patterns from Chonji all the way through to Tongil, with the exception of pattern Juche, which was later developed in the 1980s, and this replaced the second degree pattern Kodang. That was, we believe, because Juche reflected the North Korean ideology, and General Choi introduced Taekwondo there in 1980, whereas Kodang is the pen name of a political rival for one of the rulers of North Korea. So it was decided to remove Kodang and insert Juche. Jumping back a little bit to May 1973, the World Taekwondo Federation was formed, headed by Kim Eun-young. World Taekwondo Federation, Taekwondo is the one you mainly see in the Olympics. It's rebadged these days as WT or World Taekwondo rather than World Taekwondo Federation. And the patterns in WT Taekwondo were redesigned from Shotokan karate patterns and the Changhon patterns, because when General Choi left Korea, they wanted to keep Taekwondo but not General Choi's Taekwondo, so they designed their own set of patterns. In 1988, World Taekwondo Federation Taekwondo was included in the Olympic Games as a demonstration sport for the first time. This was quite a big introduction to a lot of people to Taekwondo. Not necessarily the Taekwondo that we do, but it was a really good thing for Taekwondo. Jumping forwards a little bit to our association, the Absolute Taekwondo Association, ATKDA, was founded in October 2010 by Master John McNally to provide instruction to students and instructors regardless of association and without political pressures. The sole aim was to promote, study and pass on Taekwondo as an effective martial art and activity for health. In 2011, the International Taekwondo Council was formed, again by Master John McNally. The aim to provide unbiased support and guidance to all Taekwondo practitioners. The body is classed as a national governing body, but the founder and the representatives of the group, and myself included, we would love to refer to it as a guiding body rather than a governing body. We don't try to govern anybody. Master McNally doesn't try to govern anybody, nor do any of the representatives. All it is a tree for everyone to gather under for the betterment of ourselves and for the martial art. In 2020, the Taekwondo Council United Kingdom, which is the UK specific branch of the International Taekwondo Council, was founded with the same ethos to unite and guide martial artists, but not to control or command them. So that brings us roughly up to date with where we are now. If you do have questions, please comment below or drop me a message or email or even speak to me at the class, and I'm happy to answer any questions on that one. Thank you. See you soon. Bye.